Those who have true te are like a newborn baby, and if they seem like this, they will not be stung by wasps or snakes or pounced on by animals in the wild or birds of prey. A baby is weak and supple, but his hand can grasp your finger. He has no desire as yet, and yet he can be erect. He can cry day and night without even getting hoarse. Such is the depth of his harmony. It's stupid to rush around. When you fight against yourself, it shows in your face. But if you draw your sap from your heart, then you will be truly strong. You will be great. How often do we ignore the inner sense of ourselves to such a degree that we have to do things like intentionally be a certain way at a certain place? And I know that this is deemed as necessary for common modern polite society or whatever, or the workplace or what have you. But if a workplace, for example, so misaligns you from your natural being and your natural instinct, are you setting yourself up for a distinct failure, an inevitable struggle against yourself? And if so, what are the other options? I think we can get very tunnel visioned in life and forget that there are a lot of different ways in which people live, and that those can all be okay. And just because you may not be following the quote unquote straight and narrow path to success or to money or to ancestry or family, then you're doing something wrong. And I think we want to examine really strongly if we believe that that's true, or if it's just easy to acquiesce to the pressure and the weight of that idea. And in this verse, Lao Tzu is reminding us that a baby can be all of these things and not sort of suffer the consequences, right? This is a verse about being able to act naturally and reduce one's suffering, because that natural action is so freeing and is so in alignment with oneself that even if things that would be perceived as unlucky or challenging or downright bad happen, that all of those things are sort of against the backdrop of somebody who is living so purely and so naturally and so aligned to their being that it takes a lot to throw them really off kilter and make them feel that they are truly suffering. So if we can find a way to be more true and authentic to ourselves and live in that way and stop trying to impress everybody else and stop trying to be a certain way in certain situations, maybe sometimes the answer is you don't need to be in that situation. Or if that really irks somebody else, that's their thing to deal with and their thing to work on. It's not yours. And if we can fill ourselves up with being true and authentic, the joy and the contentment that we can derive from that would put such a barrier to something that we would perceive as suffering that we can really reduce the impact of small nuisances that we encounter every day that really, really seem to trouble us when we are already uncentered and living from a slightly askew place.